Another one bites the dust as Manchester United prove their dominance once again, even in the face of adversity with a lot of controversial things happening. Manchester United pull through, and for only just a few hours, but it may as well be the permanent thing. Manchester United have made the top four officially tonight. Things can change, but Manchester United's performance could very well determine the top four race today. What's up, everybody? It's the Aidan Sports Show, and welcome back to another video. This is going to be a Manchester United versus Bournemouth 5-2 match reaction for the Premier League. Now, before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel. Turn notifications on. Share the video, share the playlist, share your reactions. Let me know in the comments what you thought about Manchester United tonight. How well did they perform? Did you see any negatives? What were the positives? What would you give Ollie? Of course, I'm going to give my player ratings for every single player. I'm going to talk about the goals. I'm going to talk about how Manchester United performed overall. And if there are any negatives, we will bring up the negatives as well. So let's get started on how Manchester United actually performed. I thought Manchester United looked very, very, very prolific tonight. I thought Manchester United looked extremely likely to score every single time they touch the ball within their half. And this is, again, something that Bournemouth seems to struggle with their entire season. They love to attack Bournemouth. They absolutely love to attack, but they just don't have the defenders or even the midfielders to play the way that they do. It's similar to a Norwich. In the end, it's going to backfire on them, and it did backfire on them today. I thought Bournemouth played extremely well today, and I'm not even going to take anything away from them, but defensively they were shocking, and that cost them the game in the end because they scored two very, very good goals. Very shocking goals, probably goals that shouldn't have went in, but 2 goals nonetheless. And a lot of teams, if you score 2 goals, you win the game. Unfortunately for Bournemouth, that wasn't the way that things worked because their defense was so bad that it ended up costing them in the end. Manchester United winning 5-2. Let's talk about the goals. So, obviously the first goal came from Bournemouth. This goal is absolutely shocking to me. I can't believe this goal went in. So, let's just get right to the replay kind of thing. It ended up going, got a deflection. Bournemouth player, I believe it's Wilson, but again, I don't know. I'm sorry. I was kind of at a party when this goal happened. So yeah. Anyway, nutmeg Harry Maguire, right? Harry Maguire runs up, nutmeg. Hits it near post. David De Gea does not cover his near post well enough, and the goal goes in. Now, David De Gea, I think, gets a lot of criticism. Well deserved, some of it, and most of it isn't. But I think anybody that's having a go at David De Gea tonight for that goal is probably well deserved, because that was the first thing you think of is how else is he going to score if you cover the near post? Where is he going to shoot it? And you need to cover the near post. Again, it's all about the angles of a goalkeeper, right? In that circumstance, with the angle being that tight, it's very hard to hit it across goal and to hit it on target. You need to cover the near post. He didn't cover the near post, and in the end, it backfired tremendously against him, and it didn't work out. And David De Gea, again, made it a mistake he probably should know better from, and it didn't work out in his favour. Now, I'm not going to go too in on David De Gea. I've said my piece about it now, and I'm going to leave it alone. David De Gea, everybody knows what I think about David De Gea. My stance still doesn't change, even if this goal was conceded. Even if this was the only goal in the game, my stance doesn't change with David De Gea. He has had a fantastic season, but people want to go against his mistakes and his mistakes alone, but they don't want to go against the consistencies that he's had this season. Whatever you guys want to believe, that's all on you, and I'm going to leave. I said my piece, and I'm going to leave it at that. If you guys have something different, let me know in the comments, man. I'm always down to have a talk with people. Maybe people can change my mind, or just speaking your opinion. That's all I want on this YouTube channel. Let's go to the second goal. Unfortunately, I didn't see the second goal as well, but I know exactly what happened. It was a bullet from Mason Greenwood, and pretty much it was there was a free kick, potential free kick. VAR didn't give to Bournemouth on the verge of this goal, but Mason Greenwood ends up picking up the scraps and getting a rocket of a goal into the back of the net to equalize the game at 1 goal apiece. Brilliant stuff from Mason Greenwood. Again, another fantastic performance. We'll get into that in the player ratings, but that was the second goal. Third goal, penalty. I believe this was from a handball. Correct me if I'm wrong. There was definitely a penalty in place in which instead of Bruno Fernandes taking it this time, it was Marcus Rashford Obviously, I don't really mind who takes the penalties. Obviously, we know Bruno Fernandes is a fantastic penalty taker, but sometimes Marcus Rashford, sometimes Martial, even Pogba, we have a lot of penalty takers in the team that would want to take a penalty every now and then. So it's good to give a lot of players, especially players that probably need it, some penalty shots. And Marcus Rashford seals the penalty very, very comfortably. Keeper went the right way, but it was just too far gone into the corner for any goalkeeper to save it. And the goal stands. Manchester United are 2-1 up. There's a lot of goals. I'm trying to think of which ones came in order. So I believe the third goal was a free kick from Bruno Fernandes. I think Pogba was the one. Martial was the one that got the foul on the edge of the box, and Bruno Fernandes hit it cross goal. Everybody expected him to try and go for top bins. He went on the other side of the goal, side netted. Fantastic, brilliant. This is exactly what we get Bruno Fernandes in for dead ball oppositions like that, where he goes and surprises the goalkeeper, surprises the wall, surprises the defense, and a beautiful, beautiful goal from Bruno Fernandes there too. Again, showing his worth at Manchester United. The fourth goal, I believe, was a Anthony Martial fantastic goal. Actually, I think the Bruno and Martial goal might have been flipped around. Maybe it was Martial the third and then Bruno with the fourth. But anyway, we'll get to the Martial goal. Martial hits it. A fantastic hit. Wonderful hit, man. Outside the box, hit the top post, went in, top bins. Fantastic goal from Anthony Martial. Again, I don't think Martial was particularly too involved in the game, but that goal, whoa, man. Whoa. I don't see many goals like that in my lifetime. And Martial, that's a goal you score on FIFA. That's the goal. That is the pinnacle goal you score on FIFA. And Martial did it in real life. That was a beautiful goal. And the fifth goal was Mason Greenwood again, passing out from the... He went from the penalty box. He ran so far wide, I didn't think he was going to even have a chance to score, but he boots it to the top corner again. Clinical Mason Greenwood, absolutely clinical. Goalkeeper gets a hand on it, but unfortunately the shot was just so powerful and so on target that the goalkeeper's hand did sod all, really. And the goal stands for 5-2. Now, obviously, we had a goal from Marcus Rashford disallowed. Bournemouth ends up getting a second goal from a penalty at the very beginning of the half due to Eric Barley's mistake. We'll get into that later. And that was the game. 5-2 for Manchester United. Domination, I'd have to say. But without us, there were a few scares, and that's where you give Bournemouth a little bit of credit. They scared us today. They really did. And I feel like a reaction was needed. And we have the players now to go and get a reaction. And that's why I think when there was a notification saying that Man United can't stop scoring, the reason why we couldn't stop scoring is because we had a reaction tonight. Because usually that old Manchester United, if we conceded that first nutmeg goal, nutmeg Harry Maguire, and goes past David De Gea in the near post, deadass, we would lose that game. But just because of that goal, because we don't have the players... confidence on the right wavelength for them to actually go and get a reaction. We would have lost that game if that was any other team. But with the players that we have now, the confidence that we have now, the actual mentality that we have now, players were getting reactions just like that. And it only took a few minutes to go and get an equaliser. Then it took a few minutes to go and get the second. Then it took a few minutes to go and get the third. And it all linked together. And this is why Manchester United were prolific tonight. And probably the best I've seen them, bar the defence. We'll get into that later. But let's go into the player ratings for now. David De Gea, I think you have to give him a 6. Again, he didn't have anything to do bar the terrible missed opportunity. So I'm not going to say anything about how poor he was with that goal. We all know how poor he was. People can give him a 5. Give him a 5 if you want. I'm not opposed to giving him a 5. At the end of the day, I think it was bang average, to be fair. He wasn't anything special. And in the end... It is what it is. David De Gea gets another mistake. I can't defend that mistake. I couldn't defend the Everton mistake, the Watford mistake. You can't defend the mistakes, but you can defend the games where he does do well. You can defend the stats. You can defend the season that he's having. But the mistakes, when they happen, you just can't defend it. And I can't defend this one. It was a mistake from David De Gea. Near post. He didn't get there quick enough. And he needed to do better. And at the end of the day, we have to move on from that. We won the game, so I feel like this goal would probably get swept under the rug a little bit, and in a few weeks' time, no one's going to remember it. But we'll just have to see where things go with David De Gea. Aaron Wan Bissaka, I didn't see much of Aaron Wan Bissaka today, but he could have potentially got an assist from Marcus Rashford's offside goal. They were measuring it, and Marcus Rashford was just this much offside, and that's what VAR is for at the end of the day. And they got the right call in the end. People might even complain until this day, but that goal was offside. But besides that, defensively sound, made some crucial tackles. I'm going to give him a 7. Again, I didn't watch the first 10 minutes of this game, so I can't base anything on those 10 minutes that he played. But I thought he was fairly good in the second half. In the first half, he was dominant as well. This is just another thing that you see when you see Manchester United. You always see Aaron Wan Bissaka doing very, very well. And I think that's just the way that things go. Now, Victor Lindelof. I have seen a lot of people on social media saying Victor Lindelof didn't play very well today. Same with Harry Maguire. I think Victor Lindelof did enough to get a 6. Let's just leave it at that. I don't think Victor Lindelof was too great today. I think he was partly the reason for the fault of the goal, for just not really clearing the ball away. And in the end, it made Harry Maguire look silly. Absolutely silly. Harry Maguire has become a meme from that goal. But in the end, I think 6 is fair. Look, both centre-backs didn't play well today, and that's how it's reflected in the 2 goals. Especially the first goal. So in the end, I can't sit here and defend Victor Lindelof, and I can't defend Harry Maguire for giving them 7s. It's just not going to happen. I'm not going to give them a 7 because they don't deserve a 7. So Victor Lindelof is getting a 6 from me, and Harry Maguire will get a 6 from me as well. Now, besides the goal, Harry Maguire actually had a fairly decent game in my eyes. Cleared the ball away from corners, was defending very, very well, but in the end, he turned the ball over a few times from Bournemouth's press. And the goal that was conceded was partly at his fault for the nutmeg. You don't expect a centre-back like Harry Maguire's quality to let a nutmeg in the box go through. Again, he can't do anything. It's not like he can push the guy down for a penalty, but Harry Maguire was making up for Victor Lindelof's mistake in the end, and it made them both look bad. So they're both going to get 6s. Yeah, look, it's not ideal, and it's Harry Maguire at the end of the day. This is our captain, so I hate going in on our captain. But this is just something that shouldn't really be happening at Manchester United to get 6 as your captain. But either way, bad games happen. Harry Maguire, this is probably one of the baddest games I've seen in him in a very, very, very long time. So I'm not going to give him stick either. Like, he doesn't deserve the stick. Neither does Victor Lindelof. At the end of the day, I think this is just a bad game. And Eric Bailly didn't make things better when he came on. So things just ended up not working on the centre-back pairing. This could be a worrying sign for the future, but this could also be just a little stint. People already don't like the partnership, but today's game just makes it 10 times worse for the people that are defending it. And I feel like they're going to have a little bit of a tougher time trying to defend a performance like this. Anyway, Luke Shaw, I'm going to give 7 to Luke Shaw as well. Again, he did everything right for me, Luke Shaw. He defended very, very well. He attacked the byline. I thought Luke Shaw was very good today. And again, look, Luke Shaw wasn't very noticeable. I don't think a lot of our players were very noticeable today, but I think a 7 is well deserved because he did everything right again. He's doing the same things right consistently. He's attacking the byline. He's delivering crosses. He's defending well. He's defending high up. He's pressing. He's doing what a left back should be doing in the modern day. And I feel like that's why he gets noticed for me a lot more, because I expect these things out of a left back and he's doing them. Maybe his quality of crosses aren't great. Maybe he doesn't find the right man every now and then. Maybe he turns the ball over from poor crosses. But the only way people are going to get better is playing games and actually doing better. We've seen Luke Shaw does have quality in his crosses, and we've seen lack of quality as well. So it's all about a fine balancing act. And I feel like the more that we play him, the more he's going to get that balancing act online. And the more that Manchester United are actually going to get more assists from our fullbacks. Wan Bissaka is already improving his assist rate. Eventually, the same thing is going to happen to Luke Shaw. Stay tuned. It will happen. Going into the midfield, we'll start off with Nemanja Matic. I thought Nemanja Matic was not as good as he used to be with the game against Norwich, the game against Sheffield, the game against Brighton. But I thought he was fairly decent as well. I'm going to give him a 7. He wasn't an 8 out of 10. He wasn't an 8.5. He wasn't a 9 out of 10. He wasn't a man of the match candidate for me today, at least. But he did his job just as well as he usually does, man. I don't expect Matic to have 8 out of 10 performances every game, but I expect a 7. I expect consistency, and he is consistent. He turned the ball over a few times today. He was partly the reason for the penalty due to a poor pass that Eric Barley tried to control. That was Matic's own doing, and I don't think he deserves anything more than a 7, to be honest. Maybe if that penalty wasn't given, Matic could get an 8 from me, but he's going to get a 7, rightfully deserves 7. Again, Matic is a player that we all think has had a revolutionary change of his career at Manchester United, and that's not going to affect anything. One bad game or one poor pass, one mistake, one penalty conceded against him is not going to change things for me. I think Matic is still a crucial player that needs to be played, and I think in this term, especially in this stage, with the players that we have going forward, Matic is absolutely vital for our season, and therefore a 7 is definitely a fair score because he did his job exactly the way that it needed to be done, and in the end, we won the game. Matic plays a part in that win. No CDM, probably no win. So there we go. Next up, Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba had a good game today. Again, he was a little bit I wouldn't say non-existent, but he didn't, at least in my eyes. Again, this is a person that was in and out of the game, especially in the first half. But in the second half, he didn't make much of an impact in terms of a killer pass. But he had a shot on goal that could have been considered a penalty later on. He did have a long shot on goal. His passes were Paul Pogba-esque. It's just a normal thing for Paul Pogba to have a good pass. So I don't really know. I'm kind of conflicted on what to give him. I'm gonna give him a 7.5. Now I want to give him an 8, but again, as I said in the first 10 minutes, I can't comment on how well he did. And sometimes the start of the game for me means everything. So during that time, it's a bit of an iffy situation. Like maybe people are going to look at me and think this guy has no idea what he's talking about. Or maybe people are going to look at me and say, you know what, I can understand the way that you're thinking at the moment. How could I comment on a player that I didn't see the full 90 minutes on and say that he was amazing? Because in that 10 minutes or 15 minutes that I didn't see, we ended up conceding a goal and getting a goal back. I can't tell you how Paul Pogba played. So in that retrospect, I'm just being as honest as I possibly can. I'm going to give Paul Pogba a 7.5. Now, Bruno Fernandes, I'm going to give an 8 out of 10 to. He got a fantastic goal from a free kick, and I thought Bruno was just exactly as I expect. Now, passing-wise, it's a similar story. I'm always going to be a little bit of a repetitive person when I say this. Bruno turns the ball over so much. Every single game, Bruno turns the ball over so many times. But what we expect from Bruno Fernandes is to make an impact. A one split-second impact that changes the game. Bruno Fernandes' free kick was world-class. Not a lot of players would end up risking a free kick going on the opposite side of the goals like that. But Bruno Fernandes did it. He surprised the goalkeeper. He surprised the defenders. The wall had no chance of stopping it, and he got a goal. And that's what we want Bruno Fernandes to do. What's the point of having a number 10 that plays it safe, plays the sideways passes all the time? We need someone that wants to take risks, someone that feels energetic, someone that actually changes the fortunes of Manchester United. We don't need a player that can keep the ball 100% of the time. We don't need a player that is willing to just go and pass back to Nemanja Matic and we're going to play side to side. We don't need a player like that. We need players that are willing to make the defenders work, make defenders have to either commit a penalty, commit a foul, or just in the end work really hard to try and keep a clean sheet. Bruno Fernandes gives that to you. He makes those defenders work. And at the end of the day, that's what we need from a number 10 and from our attackers. Speaking of, and in my opinion, the greatest performance trio of Manchester United I've probably seen all season was from these 3 players, our 3 attackers. I'm going to start off with Marcus Rashford here. Now, Marcus Rashford, in my eyes, played a lot better than he usually plays during this lockdown period. Now, the penalty is something that we can't really give to him because in the end, he was supposed to score the penalty and he does. So it is a goal. But I'm going to give Marcus Rashford a 7 out of 10. I thought he was much better than previous games that we've seen from him. Again, there have been situations. He scored an offside goal as well. He played a really killer cross into the box as well. But again, I'm just picking at things here. Overall, I thought his performance was fairly decent. I thought he was in the game. I thought he was a little bit lively. But again, his sharpness was not there. You could tell. And that's why that goal will hopefully boost his confidence for more games to come. We need Marcus Rashford at his best. And we're doing well when he's not at his best. But just imagine how good we can be if he was at his best. We could have scored easily 7 goals if Marcus Rashford was on point tonight. And I hope to see more of Marcus Rashford performing well in the future. Hopefully we see more 7s and 8s out of 10s. And hopefully we see a fantastic relationship build with these 3 players, because they rightfully have a threat to becoming the best Premier League attacking trio so far. Definitely since the lockdown break they have been. And maybe bar Liverpool, bar Man City, we have the best attacking trio. Maybe we do. Next up, Tony Martial. Got a fantastic, beautiful, sensational goal. But again, I don't feel like Martial was in the game all that much. Now, he had a few attempts on goal. He had a few dribbles past defenders. But I feel like that one shot on goal that he scored was the only real impact play that Martial committed this entire game, except for the free kick for Bruno Fernandes's goal. So I'm going to give Martial a 7.5, because I feel like, again, he does the subtle things as a number 9, and it's similar to last week when I gave him a 6. He was a little bit non-existent. I don't think he was non-existent today. I thought he was there. I saw him constantly. I saw him make runs. I saw him make plays. Bruno tried to find him. Everybody tried to find him. He was in the game. And not only that, when he had the ball, he did the right things and he scored a goal. So 7.5 for me is a fair score, considering last week I gave him a 6, basically saying the same reasons. He just wasn't there. He did the fantastic little subtle passes. He played hard working. He held the ball up. And he did the same things here, but he scored. So 7.5 out of 10 is a perfect, ideal situation for me. And Mason Greenwood. Let's talk about Mason Greenwood. 2 fantastic goals. Fantastic goals. If you haven't thought about it already, for me at least, Mason Greenwood is the man of the match. Again, 2 times for me, I've picked Mason Greenwood to be man of the match. I'm giving Mason Greenwood... do I give him I'm going to give him a 9 again. Why? He scored 2 goals. How could I not give him a 9? And the second goal was what a beautiful goal. I did not think he could end up hitting it on target, especially going into the top corner, the way that he was moving. That's beyond belief. World class sometimes. You think Mason Greenwood, everybody thinks the future, but he's proving to us now he could definitely be the present as well. People need to look at Mason Greenwood and think, does Sancho get into this team? Now, I know, calm down. Of course, Sancho gets into the team. But Bruno Fernandes was a player where we instantly thought he was going to be in the team. Mason Greenwood is a player right now we think is going to be miles ahead of Daniel James and is in the team. If Jadon Sancho comes in, we're going to have to drop Mason Greenwood. Where is he going to play? Is he just going to play as a backup? Do you think that's all he is for Manchester United? We need squad depth. I'll agree with anybody that says that. From the United stand, from Manchester United Twitter pages, from Facebook pages, Instagram posts. Squad depth is an absolute must for Manchester United. And in many, many ways, Jadon Sancho helps that, because it puts such a fantastic player in Mason Greenwood on the bench that comes in for players out of form. And I can agree with that. But a lot of people are saying that because of Mason Greenwood, we don't need Jadon Sancho. That's going to be a topic of discussion for another video. But I'm going to say this. For those people, we do need Jadon Sancho. But we should not be dropping Mason Greenwood as just a bench player. That can't be our resolution to this. Of course, he's going to have to play on the bench a lot of the time. But I think he needs to start a lot of games as well. He definitely should be playing more than he's played this season. The guy's got 15 goals, I believe, in all competitions. Correct me if I'm wrong. 15 goals in all competitions. He's 18, and he's barely played. He's barely started for Manchester United, and he's barely played like half the season, man. Like, come on, the stats are there to show that Mason Greenwood is an amazing player. let's just see where we go. This is why things are so exciting, because we're linked to players that will make us better, and we have players developing into amazing players that make us better. We are becoming a better team, and the performances demonstrate that, and that's what makes me so excited. Maybe my opinions are wrong. Maybe I'm looking things at a different perspective. Maybe people think I'm acting like an idiot, but maybe, just maybe, I'm doing this because I believe whatever happens, Manchester United are becoming a better team. And that's all I want to see, man. Anyway, that's the team for now. Mason Greenwood, 9 out of 10. Man of the match. Again, round of applause. This is the second time in a row, and I hope it's going to be a third time next game, a fourth time. Why not, man? Why not? Mason Greenwood, why not make your claim to be a Manchester United starter going forward? At the end of the day, all I want is Manchester United to be the best team that we could possibly be. I want Manchester United to make the top 4, which, as of now, until probably 7 a.m. in the morning Australian time, we are in the top 4. What do you guys think? Do you think we can maintain this position? We have a lot of games that we are considered beatable. That they are considered beatable. We have Aston Villa next. Relegation. We have Southampton. That might be a little bit tough. We have Crystal Palace. Again, a team that we should be beating. Then we have Leicester City down the line as well. We have games that we can go and we can beat and rightfully deserve to win. So can Manchester United keep this position going? I feel like Chelsea fans are a little bit nervous after that loss to West Ham. I feel like Leicester are shitting themselves because they have to verse Tottenham, Arsenal, and Manchester United. So they're probably shitting themselves. So Manchester United are in the comfort zone, and so are Wolves, to be fair. But Manchester United are in a zone. We're looking like the favourites to get it. And that makes me very excited because all we want is Champions League. Europa League, we can win that and get it, but I feel like top 4 is probably the safer bet at the moment to go and do. So, Ollie's team performance, in my eyes, Ollie gets an 8 out of 10 again for his fantastic starting 11. Again, it's probably not hard to give Ollie an 8 out of 10 these days because the lineup speaks for themselves. But the substitutions were fair. And in the end, maybe he would get a 9, but the substitution of Eric Bailly as well kind of dragged things down. I'm not sure what happened with Victor Lindelof, if he's injured or not. But I hope Victor Lindelof gets a speedy recovery, if so. And Eric Bailly kind of conceded a goal for us, to be fair. So he doesn't, like, that's just the way it is. Let's go into the bench before I go. Team performance as well. I'm giving a 9 out of 10 for Manchester United, just because our attacking presence was sensational. Again, no one could really stop us. Bournemouth didn't help things. They were pretty poor tonight. But Manchester United's performance probably gets a 9 out of 10 for me again. Going into the bench, let's start off with Eric Bailly. I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. How could I not? Like, he didn't do anything to make me say that he deserves a 6. He gave away a penalty. Again, that's probably a handball. He doesn't need to concede. He doesn't need to have his hands out trying to get the ball like this. That's not necessary. We don't need that out of a player. And he kind of made things a lot more difficult than it needed to be. And 5 is fair. Next up, Daniel James. Daniel James gets a 6. He had a very killer cross to which Martial and Rashford could have got on the end to, but none of them did. It actually nutmegged Rashford, so I don't know what that brings to the conversation. But Daniel James, in the end, was he did fairly well. I think his 6 out of 10 is very, very fair. And for a player that is not really getting any game time at the moment, that just shows the quality that Manchester United's attacking front line has been, where Daniel James has to sit on the bench. And for the majority of the season, this guy was a starter for us. So Mason Greenwood has really captured that place and made it his own. And that's what I love to see. Next up, we'll pick Ighalo. Ighalo could have scored today, and I'm praying for this guy to score in a Premier League game. The guy needs a goal in the Premier League to break that little duck that he's in with the Premier League. In the Europa League, he's fine. FA Cup, he's fine. But the Premier League, he just doesn't seem to be able to crack that code, to crack into the goals. And I think a Premier League goal is a must for Ighalo before he leaves. And surely he'll get that done. But if he doesn't, it's going to be very, very interesting. I'm going to give him a 6. He didn't do anything badly. He got in a few shots on goal, just off target. I really thought he scored the 6th goal for Manchester United, just off target, unfortunately, by a mile. But when you're watching on the TV, that looked like it was going to be a goal. Fortunately, it wasn't to be. Next up, Juan Mata. So I believe this is the the 4 substitutions, so Eric Barley, Daniel James, Ighalo, and Mata. Mata didn't do anything really. So I'm going to give him a 6 as well. There's not really much I could say about Mata. He just did his thing. He just did his thing. Like, he didn't have enough time to go and say, I'm Wan Mata, I'm here to make my claim to go and play more consistent football. But he wasn't to the point where we need to say, sell him now. You know, like, there are a lot of players, if they play poorly, we say we need them to leave. Mata wasn't like that tonight. I mean, people still want him to leave, but he wasn't that poor tonight. And finally, we've got Fred the Red, or Fredge. If you guys didn't see that Instagram video of him saying his name, you need to see it. Fred gets a very comfortable 6.5 out of 10 for me. I thought as soon as Fred came on, he looked lively, had a few shots on goals, passed the ball, defended. This was the Fred that I've come to know and love, and he was back. Like, he was back and in form. And it was a beautiful sight to see. That's the bench for Manchester United. That is the match reaction. What do you guys think of Manchester United versus Bournemouth 5-2? Let me know in the comments what you guys thought about the game. Let me know in the comments what you think about the next game coming up against Aston Villa. Jack Grealish is going to have to come to Old Trafford. I believe it's at Old Trafford. He's going to have to come to Old Trafford and he's going to have to perform. And this could be a very, very good scouting report on how well he does against our team. Let's see what things go. Let's see how things go. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel. Turn notifications on. Once again, I'm going to say this. I'm very sorry that I wasn't able to get the very start of the game. So if things are a little bit misinformed, if things are not exactly what you guys think, please be aware that I wasn't fully paying attention for at least the first 15 minutes. And maybe I shouldn't have made a video like this, but in the end, I just really wanted to talk about Manchester United. I always want to talk about Manchester United. To everybody that ever knows me, they know I want to talk about Manchester United. So I hope there's not going to be too much of an issue. Again, if you guys disagree with my opinion, I'd love to know what you guys think. Maybe inform me a little bit of what actually happened. I'm definitely going to have to rewatch the game, and I will do so right after this. I will watch the game, and maybe in the match preview against Aston Villa, if I find anything that I disagree on what I said, then I'll bring it into that video. But nevertheless, look, I'm just so happy at the moment. I just genuinely am happy. My heart is beating out of my chest. I'm excited. We've gotten into the top 4 now. Let's see if we can keep it. Manchester United are dangerous. Manchester United can't stop scoring. Can Manchester United succeed their way into the top 4, potentially land the 3rd spot? Only time's going to tell. Have a wonderful and safe day. Take care and peace.